Hello there, YouTube. This is a video about Jehovah's Witnessism and what it's like to be a former Jehovah's Witness. So if you're not interested in that, don't bother watching this video. Go watch one of my other videos. Go watch all my other videos. Make me, 20 cents or something. Anyway, this is a video response to Ogre the Kid and his two-part video about being his mom's personal savior. I was initially just typing all this stuff as a comment, but I soon realized that it was going to be the most ridiculously long comment in the history of YouTube. So I decided to turn it into a video instead. It kind of feels more natural than typing it. Anyway. What you describe as being your childhood is common among those who are raised as Jehovah's Witnesses. Basically, we all have slightly different versions of the same parents. Psychologically healthy people do not become Jehovah's Witnesses in the first place. Nobody who's right in the head and is not a Jehovah's Witness will say, I think I'll become a Jehovah's Witness. People who have made that decision already have something wrong. And then they have children, they raise them in the truth. There are just some experiences. Some of the ones you describe are almost universal. If you are a boy, you're going to have Bethel dangled in front of you. You're not going to be told about all the crap that goes along with Bethel life. And I don't know, living in New York, you probably have some better idea of what goes on there. I've lived in the South all my life. I had no idea the craziness. But watching some videos and reading some things from ex-Bethelite, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, insanity. Like the kind of... I heard someone say you're not allowed to leave your residence building wearing jeans. You have to leave your residence building wearing a suit and go to another building and put on jeans if you're going to do something wearing jeans. Crazy, crazy stuff. It is very much like being in prison. But we're not told that. But we all have these things dangled in front of us. And we all have to give up. If you are interested in developing a skill or having a career or learning about science, being educated, you are expected to just give it up. And after all, it makes sense to give it up because the new system is right around the corner. If you start pursuing something now, if you start to play basketball now, you will never get good at it in this system because the new system is right around the corner. It could be tomorrow. So devote your time to doing good Jehovah's Witness stuff and don't waste it getting out and enjoying yourself or having a life or doing something worth anything. Spend all your time with crazy Jehovah's Witness stuff. I remember there were a few times when there were articles in the Watchtower, talks given, something. I think there were actually both. Saying that when you are engaging in recreation, when you're having conversations with other Jehovah's Witnesses, you shouldn't just talk about normal stuff. You should talk about the Bible truths you've learned in the latest issue of the Watchtower or the latest other publication you've read. So you shouldn't talk about work or what you're gonna do on vacation or something like that. It should always be conversation. Should always be upbuilding and spiritual, and you should always be talking about the latest issue of Watchtower or Awake or the publications you've read or something like that. And I remember there were actually times when people I knew, not in my family, I'd have these long ongoing conversations with them about something, And then there would be this talk or this article that would say, don't talk about mundane things of the world. Talk about building Bible truths. Talk about what you read in the latest Watchtower. Which, of course, was a ploy to shame those who had not read the latest Watchtower. That was the purpose of doing that. So people who had read the latest Watchtower would say, "Oh, did you read in the latest Watchtower, blah, blah, blah?" And the other person would have to say, "No, I haven't read the latest Watchtower, so I don't know." And then would feel stupid and would feel pressured to read it. That was the purpose of doing that. But anyway, they would do that, and sometimes people would actually do that. You would have this ongoing conversation about, their work or something in their life or whatever, and then you go to talk to them about that, and they say, "Well, in that latest magazine, they said we're just supposed to talk about the upbuilding Bible truths in the Watchtower." Like, oh, come on. But anyway, when you are a Jehovah's Witness kid, the religion, the people there, your family, none of them actually care about your happiness. And I'm not saying they're bad people. There are a lot of good people who are Jehovah's Witnesses. But because of the way the religion is, they don't care about your happiness at all. The only happiness they even acknowledge is the happiness you will have in the new system. Pardon me. In the new system, you can have happiness, and that's all that's relevant. And anything you want to do, if you want to play basketball, learn science, have a career, it is all irrelevant, and you are expected to give it up. So we tend to come, when we leave the religion, when we leave the Watchtower, we tend to come out socially inept, poorly educated. We have a hard time dealing with life. And that's also something that the Watchtower Society wants. They want it to be hard to survive outside the Watchtower, so they can make you come back if you leave. But what you're describing is something probably most other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who were raised in the religion could describe. I know that doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it any better for anyone, but that's the way it is. It's funny, when I saw that my wife was never a Jehovah's Witness. So occasionally I like to regale her with humorous and crazy stories about Jehovah's Witness life and Jehovah's Witness beliefs and stuff. For people who were never witnesses, it actually is pretty funny. When you think about the stuff Jehovah's Witnesses do, some of it's pretty funny and crazy. But it was like the day before I saw the first part of your video, I was having a conversation with her about when you're a kid. Like when I was a kid and I would be out in field service, and you're invited into a house where there are other kids and they're playing a game or playing with a dog or watching TV or whatever, and you are invited by the householder to go play with their children or watch the cartoons with them. You know, a lot of field service is done on Saturday morning, so you're invited in. There are cartoons going on the television. There are kids over sitting in the other part of the room watching the cartoons. You're sitting on a couch listening to a discussion of pornography and how bad pornography is. So the householder, the parent of these other kids, someone who is probably infinitely more reasonable than anyone who is a Jehovah's Witness, will say, "Oh, he can go watch cartoons with my kids, or he can go play a game with my kids, or he can go play with the dog," or whatever. And inside you're thinking, yes, that is what I want to do. That is what I want to do. I don't want to sit here listening to this conversation that I don't understand and don't give a crap about. I want to go be a kid and have fun. But you sit there like this. And your parent or the adult or whoever you're with will say, oh, no, he wants to be here listening to this. He knows a lot about the Bible. You'd be surprised how much he knows about the Bible. And you dare not express any kind of disagreement with that. You cannot say, no, I would really like to go watch cartoons. You can finish your conversation and I will go watch cartoons because I don't even know what you're talking about anyway. And it doesn't affect me. I'm 8 and I don't care about pornography or environmentalism or anything like that. I don't. I want to watch Bugs Bunny. And Bugs Bunny is playing on the television right over there. Bugs Bunny on the television and I want to go watch it. Cannot do that. And at some point, your parent or the adult you're with will, as a demonstration of how much you know about the Bible, will turn to you and ask you some, basic Jehovah's Witness question, so you can give a rote answer and show that you're getting fully indoctrinated. And when they do that, if they find you watching the cartoons, if you're paying attention to Bugs Bunny rather than listening to this discussion about the Trinity, it is very likely that when you get home, or even just when you go get in the car, acts of violence will be perpetrated against you. You are not allowed to want to do any of those things. You have to look like you actually want to sit here listening to a conversation about whether or not there is hellfire. And whether homosexuals can enter the kingdom of God. You don't know what they're talking about. You don't care what they're talking about, but you are expected to pretend. If I had never been a witness, and for some reason I invite these people into my house, and I don't have any kids, but imagining I do, I have some kids and they're watching Donald Duck on television, and these Jehovah's Witnesses come in, and there's this little kid. And I see him occasionally glance over. The adult doesn't see him, but I do. I see him kind of glance over, and he's wanting to watch Bugs Bunny with my kids. And I say, oh, he can go watch Bugs Bunny with my kids. It's okay. And the adult says, no, he wants to sit here having a conversation about global warming and how God's kingdom will bring an end to it. That would be a big red flag. I would say that this person is crazy and abusive to this child. And the child doesn't say anything. The child doesn't say, oh, please, Mommy, please let me go watch cartoons. The child just sits there. Definitely an abused child. Definitely. Anyway. Oh, and another thing. Completely unrelated, but something you said in your video about the leaves much to be desired. The way that expression works is it's kind of like saying, I have these desires pertaining to my social capabilities. I desire to be able to, easily make friends and talk to people and tell a good joke and this kind of stuff. And my actual social abilities leave much to be desired. It's like I desire to make $50,000 a year on YouTube, but the $5 a year I do make leave much to be desired. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. Thanks for your video. I wish knowing that other people have the same issues made the issues better. I know it doesn't. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoyed your video and hope you keep making more. Until next time.